Hi, everyone. It's really a privilege to have Ms. Radha Basu, who is the founder and CEO of iMerit, co-founder of Anudeep Foundation, a leading tech entrepreneur and a pioneer in the Indian software business in our podcast from NASSCOM today. Before founding iMerit and Anudeep, Radha served as the chairman and CEO of SupportSoft. Prior to SupportSoft, she spent about 20 years at Hewlett Packard in the founding team. Her most recent position at HP was Senior General Manager of the Electronic Business Software Organization, which she grew to a global $1.2 billion business. She was in the founding team of NASSCOM. The rest, I believe, is history. So it's so much of privilege, Radha, to have you with us in this conversation today.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be back with NASSCOM again. So this is very nice. Thank you.
How do you feel technology empowers human, and how can we use technology in bringing a socio-economic change in our nation?
So if you look at how the mobile devices become so ubiquitous, and if you look forward and you look at how AI can be applied in medicine, in safety, in healthcare, or in fintech, or in a variety of different things, and particularly in a field that we work a lot, autonomous mobility, you can actually see, and to be able to do that and actually work on those AI solutions with a workforce or an employee base that is young, comes from a variety of different backgrounds. Ours happens to be, we're about 5,000 people in the AI space, and it's supposed to be the largest workforce in India and one of the largest workforces globally. 54% are women. Average age of the workforce is 24 and a half. And about 75% are young people who come from low income, marginalized, and different backgrounds. And our ability to skill them to work on the highest technologies in AI is what that bridging is. And then to be able to take AI and apply it to societal applications, I think creates a big bonding between your inclusive workforce, the technology, and clients worldwide.
As iMerit has employed and skilled hundreds of marginalized women and youth, what should be a key focus area around skilling women employees in emerging technologies, we believe?
This is a very important question. Yes, iMerit does have 54% women in our 5,200 employee workforce. And what is amazing about that is the Global Center of Excellence for Autonomous AI and Autonomous Vehicles is actually an all-women center in a place called Métier Bruce in the eastern part of India. It's recognized as the Global Center of Expertise. And why is this possible? It's possible because women have an excellent view to accuracy, to computer vision, and the ability to be able to discern very complex images and very complex videos, which is what forms the core of computer vision. In fact, there is a term that's used in the industry called edge casers. What that means is you have the expertise and the intelligence to look at the hardest problems, those edge cases, and being able to train the machine algorithms to address those edge cases. And that is something our women who are skilled in that become exceedingly good at. I see that happening in AI, in healthcare, in medicine. So there are many applications of AI that can absolutely transform globally and in terms of its application societally. And then to be able to do that with young women and young men from impact backgrounds, I think there is no better way of connecting the world through technology and being able to bring socio-economic change at the same time through this inclusive workforce.
That's really inspiring. You were an agent of change, a leader we all learn from. What would you tell CEOs to understand how they can use their personal narratives to shape their leadership?
Wow, what a nice question. I think that fundamentally, we have to believe in the potential of young people. If you go back to the formation of NASSCOM, and when the IT industry started, people like Narayan Murthy and Nandan and Mr. Kohli and Azim Premji, they were all starting, but nobody globally believed that we could do IT in India. We believed in the power of being able to skill people and in the mission and vision of being global leaders. And of course, you know what's happened. I think that same opportunity is possible today. I think India can be a global leader in AI, in digital technologies, in digital data, and digital transformation of the industry. And that can be done while we create and provide jobs. So my real message is to look at these young people to their potential, not the background they've come from. Because with AI and with digital skilling, you can transform them into global experts. And that has been the story of many of our CEOs, and sharing that and the leadership can be transformative.
What is that one strategy you would like companies to follow to make India as a world's digital talent hub?
I would say the one strategy is to use latest technologies to be able to forge ahead in skilling people. I would call it unlearn and learn, learning the new business models and being able to deliver services online in an absolutely seamless way through, I think that can be totally transformative. It can be an industry in itself, but it will also completely create a new workforce of young people actually not just born mobile, but
right,
born digital and born AI. That's where you want to go.
In fact, this last 1.5, 2 years, this pandemic has shown us so many things, and so much of transformation was necessary to keep going. I mean, that is the most interesting part. And it's actually leaders like you who are showing examples to us.
I mean, it was horrible, no question. And it continues to be very, very problematic. But it has created opportunities, and being able to seize them and be very agile, I think has been very good for a broader workforce.
These are right decisions because you get actual talent, and once you groom them properly, and they're so inspired, and some of them are so focused, so they're just in the right direction. That's why it's
yeah,
so
our attrition 6.5%.
Yes.
You find me a
Fantastic.
tech company, an IT company in India, that's
Right.
anything less than 20%, right?
No, fantastic, Radha. I mean, it's such a pleasure to have this privilege to talk to you.
Pleasure talking to you again.